In today's video, we're going to be jumping into some more Elden Ring Nightreign, and this time we're going to be going over one of the coolest characters in the game, how to complete our Executor's full Remembrance quest chain, and grab yourself some nice relics and such in the process. Now, in order to kick off these Remembrance quests, the first thing you want to do is going to be to head over and open up your journal. In here, it's going to have chapters for each one of your characters, where you can begin your Remembrance, and for the Executor, we're going to kick it off with this first one at chapter 2. Remember, if you haven't got any of these available to you, you probably need to play with them a little bit more and complete expeditions defeating some of the Night Lords. Then you get memory fragments that open up new chapters. Once you start this one off, you're going to want to head just over to this destination and speak to the Guardian. When you're speaking to him, you're going to clear through his dialogue, then it's going to come up with an option, and you're going to want to press affirm to it. After that, open up your map once more, head over to the main area where the round table is and you kick off your expeditions, and then speak to the Duchess in order to move things along. Once you've exhausted her dialogue, you're going to want to make sure you go over to the table and kick off an expedition. You can do this as a group, so if you wanted to, you can do it with 3 players, or if you wanted to get it done a little bit quicker, you can do it solo, as that way you'll be able to finish it a little bit early. Remember, with these expeditions, you don't have to complete them most times, you just have to make sure you pick up the reward item you're after. Once you head in, if you have a little look on your map, just top right you're going to have a quest marker. This is what you're going to want to get to, and the nice thing about this one, you can actually achieve it on day 1 quite easily. Now, what I would advise at this point, just to make your life a little bit easier, is to maybe gear up a little bit, get yourself a few levels, grab yourself an extra flask if possible, and then you're going to want to head over to the primary location. Here you're going to be fighting a Bloodhound Knight, and I must admit, the first time I fought him, he actually caught me out. I jumped off the rock, he spawned a little bit earlier than I'd realised he would do, and he pretty much 2-tapped me before I could even do anything. So you may want to come in at an angle, allowing you a bit of time to prepare for him. However, the great thing about this, even if you do get taken down, you're going to spawn just outside that area so you can tackle him and take him on as many times as you want, and the easiest way I found to beat him was to make sure you had your ultimate ready in order to take him down nice and fast, or at least take off a massive amount of his health. Once that's done, just behind him is the item you're going to be after. That's going to be your blessed flowers. Then all you'll be doing is dwindling down the time on the clock until you can manage to get to the first boss, and at this point it's completely up to you whether you want to try and complete the whole entirety of the next days in order to complete the expedition, or if you want to just get beat here, then you're still going to obtain the reward. So it's completely down to your choice of how much time you want it to take. So win or lose, you're going to come up with this at the end, you're going to grab yourself some rewards, but the main thing you're going to be after is going to be the blessed flowers, and then you're going to make it back to Round Table Hold, and you're going to speak to the Duchess once more, right in the starting area. After that, you're going to want to speak to the Iron Menial. He's going to be out in the garden, so you're going to head over in this direction. You're going to want to speak to him, exhaust his dialogue, and then you're going to go over to the easel and you're going to start to do a painting. Once that's done, the whole of this Remembrance is pretty much finished. All you're going to have to do is just next to the Iron Menial once more, it's going to be the exit, so click on this and you'll have that chapter completed. Once you're back at the Round Table Hold, you're now going to be rewarded with 2 key items. One is going to be the relic, the Blessed Flowers, which is really nice because whilst your character skill is active, now unlocking the use of the Cursed Sword actually restores HP, as well as grabbing yourself some extra dexterity in order to give yourself a bit of boosted damage. As well as that though, as far as I'm aware, you've also unlocked his very best relic right, which is going to be this one just here, the Executor's Chalice, which is going to come with blue, yellow, and of course the same as the rest of them, a white slot allowing you to place any coloured relic in here whatsoever. Then once that's completed, you're going to be able to move on to your next chapter Remembrance, so head all the way over to the journal once more, and then you're going to want to go over and start the chapter 6 Remembrance. Once again, you're going to move all the way over to the Duchess, speak to her, and you're going to want to clear through all of her dialogue again. At that point, you're going to need to go out on another expedition, but this one was a lot trickier I found, so if you do it solo, make sure you completely gear up before you go here, and it's going to be a day 2 activity. I tried it twice on the very first day and couldn't get it done because I got timed out by the zones, so I'd say it's either going in solo and doing it on day 2, or even easier, I would recommend doing this one with an actual team. Again, when you're heading in, the quest marker is going to be just up on the top left over in the mountain region, and this area can be quite tricky because of the frostbite. So I definitely recommend once again gearing up, preparing yourself, making sure you're ready for this fight because they can hit like an absolute truck. What I did with my team, we made sure we went around, leveled up a little bit, got a few weapons to enhance the build, grab yourself some runes, level up, and then complete the first night boss, because that way it's going to extend your timer and you won't have to worry about the area closing in quite as fast. Then when you're ready, you're going to head up to the actual quest marker location where you're going to be taking on an Erdtree avatar. Once again, I'd say if you can, try and make sure you've got your ultimate ready so you can take them down at least a little bit, and from there the main thing you want to do after that is to make sure you avoid their Elden Stars attack, because that can absolutely decimate your health, and I have had it one-shot me before in some circumstances. So make sure you're prepared when you've got this fight and try to dodge that move before you go in to take down their health. Once they're felled, make sure you go behind, pick up the key item, the golden sprout, and then you're going to move on to day 3 where you're going to be tackling the last boss. Exactly the same as before, win or lose, it doesn't really matter too much, you're still going to grab your golden sprout, which is the main thing you went into this for. And then you're going to head back to Round Table Hold and speak with the Duchess once again. This time you're going to have a small cutscene and a really cool battle. I'd say this is actually one of the best quest lines in the game, and it's going to see yourself pitted against an alternate version of you where you're testing your skills against each other in combat to see who's the better executor. Personally, I tried to attack him over and over again and got wiped the first time very badly, but after a second try you jump in, make sure you start bringing out your cursed swords, then you just want to parry him a few times. I believe his combos around about 4 or 5 times before you go in with your lunge attack. If you're on controller, that's going to be LT. And you're going to swipe through them, doing a lot of damage, and after that you're just going to kind of rinse and repeat until you can defeat them. If you're struggling, you've managed to build up your ultimate meter, don't forget you can always go into beast form, that will decimate this guy quite easily, but I found the sword play to be really fun, just dueling it out against yourself with equal skills and such.
Foolish yourself.
After that's done, you're going to see that there's a light off in the distance, you're going to want to head towards it. Then it's going to transform into a shack where you're going to get another slight cutscene, where you're going to be recalling a little bit of some past events, explaining a bit about your personal storyline. Once that's done, you're going to be returned to Round Table Hold, and you're going to have unlocked the new Remembrance cosmetic skin for the Executor, as well as the final relic, the Golden Sprout. This one means Roaring restores HP whilst your art is active, you get some HP recovery from successful guarding, as well as slowly restoring HP for self and nearby allies when your HP is low. At this point, that's pretty much the entirety of his quest chain completed, but if you wanted to see what his Remembrance outfit was, or of course purchase any of the other ones, you're going to head over to your wardrobe, and the main difference with this Remembrance run is, as you saw in the cutscene, he impaled himself through the stomach, so this skin's going to have a really big scar across your stomach line, distinguishing it from a normal armour. That's pretty much his quest line done until there's any more content. As always, there's going to be a whole bunch more on the way from me, hints, tips, guides, as well as some build guides for some of your favourite characters, so if you'd like to see more from me, why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for now, as always, take care, I'll see you on the next day.